I am associated with dangerous groups. I don't know even if my skin color qualify me, and it's an algorithm which decides if you live or die virtually. Celebrating this new Facebook fascism movement. Facebook has to go. And that's the reason why I'm here today. At the very moment I'm speaking to you right now, my Facebook account is restricted. Just before I jump into why my Facebook account got restricted, let me announce this. I'm so excited. This will be the first episode of my podcast. And the reason I launched this, let me first say that I'm gonna call it freshness, crispness. No, I'm gonna call it scriptless crispness. Since, yeah, scriptless crispness. I just need to practice saying this over and over again. Scriptless crispness. Yes, the reason I'm launching this podcast is that making an episode is really long process. Making YouTube videos, I always go into really deep search, trying to find the information and make sure that it's right and correct, and do the shooting and then finding the resources, posting it down, editing, and I'm only one man doing all this on my own. So sometimes it takes months, like the last episode of Oppenheimer. That video, it took me literally more than 1 month to prepare, because it was a really hard work. It was a lot of information and a lot of graphics and so on, so it was a tiring process. So I decided to have these podcasts just to talk about my thoughts and just to know, like, minimalist editing, and no, there is no form of like resources and so on. It's just gonna be like a flow of thoughts. And now let me go back to the story. Why did my Facebook get suspended? The reason my Facebook got suspended is a couple of days ago I made a video about, it was not about Adolf Hitler, it was basically, I was talking about the world map back in the days, which countries were there. And then I used a reference as a speech of Adolf Hitler. He was actually reciting a letter that he received from Roosevelt, talking about which countries he should be asking him not to touch, basically. And he was making fun of it in the parliament and speaking to his followers. And then I got the video removed and my account restricted. And the reason it was that I am associated with dangerous groups. I don't know even if my skin color qualify me to be a neo-Nazi, but that was the reason. Of course I put in an appeal, and I complain and say, yo, what's up? What's going on here? But the algorithm decided that I'm belonging to a terrorism group. So yeah, you can call them terrorism, or yeah, dangerous groups, I'm sorry. And then my account got restricted. And this triggered too many thoughts in my head. First of all, there is no competition with Facebook, and we are all stuck with Facebook. And it's an algorithm which decides if you live or die virtually. And when there is no competition, they basically can do the same, or they can do whatever they want to do. And what I find disturbing is the fact that I have invested a lot in Facebook. I've been in Facebook since 2007, 2006, I'd say. And I put a lot of energy into it. I got contacts, friends, people I have. And the only way to communicate with them is actually through Facebook. If my account gets suspended or deleted, I won't be able to communicate with a lot of people that are important for me, let's say, or that I would love to keep in touch with. And this is really awful, to walk around and being tiptoeing, or scared about this. And I put a lot of my thoughts, I put a lot of my jokes, I put a lot of my, and I could see myself grow. It's a big journey to be the only, it's a big journey to be the only platform that I've been posting on for a handful of years. So this is number one. Number two, of course, we all know about how the algorithms work, but the fact that it's an algorithm, it's a computer, it's a computer program that decides or have to get to decide my virtual destiny, or because I own those thoughts and posts and so on. It's also scary as well. It's a sad and scary fact that it's a computer program, because they have no way in hell or no control to look into our complaints, or to look into, like, I don't know, like if you have to go to the court. But I would say to everyone who's have this fear, please, you can actually, I think there is an option, or there's a way to download all your history or all your profile or your data from Facebook, to do that in case God knows what happens. Normally I'm a guy who doesn't like to be controlled this way, so if I was to be, or if I had that option, I would just say to Facebook, off, and I would just walk away. But apparently I don't have nowhere else to go, and everyone is around there, so this became basically the park that all the kids from the neighborhood hang out at. And you can, if you lose entrance or if you lose access to this park, then you will not be able to be a part of what's happening and what's going on. Also, Facebook played a huge role in the Arab Spring. I remember we used it a lot, we utilized it a lot during the revolution in Egypt, which I'm proud that I took place and participated into that historian event. Another thing that I find very disturbing, it actually reminded me, or made me think of George Orwell's 1884, when they were talking about the Ministry of Truth. Of course, we have it's floating all over the internet, and we know that right now Facebook controls what you actually see. So basically in Orwell's novel, there was a Ministry of Truth, and there they were telling you what's happening around you, and they were reprinting and deleting information and changing, exchanging back and forward between who's the enemy and who's the friend. They were rewriting the history basically, and they were showing the people what they want them to see, and they were trying to make them believe, or making them believe what they want them to believe. And this reminds me a lot of Facebook nowadays, because what we see, we are talking about a platform that would block certain data or information from you and show you another side of it. If you will be shocked if you found a friend that you kind of always in disagreement on opinions, let's say political opinions, and ask them if you could borrow their Facebook, or just sit and sweep through their timeline and offer them exactly the same about yours. You'll be shocked. We both, or we all, see different sides, totally opposite sides sometimes, of realities and truth. And to be manipulated like this by algorithm, I think it is ridiculous that we let them do this. And it's ridiculous. I don't know why Facebook doesn't have a competition so far. Why Facebook doesn't have any other platform that is not being directed or showing you something or showing you other thing. And it's also insane how some posts get kind of like not banned, but basically the algorithm would push your posts way down that nobody will see them, because Facebook disagrees on this. If you talk about the conflict between Israel and Palestine, or if you talk about the Ukrainian-Russian conflict or something like this, Facebook would just push down your post, so you won't be heard. And this is also insane for me, in such a platform that a lot of people are depending on it. A lot of people consider it one of the top 3 resources for news and what's happening around them. It is actually Facebook, I would say. As you can also see, I've changed the lights in the back to be blue, celebrating this new Facebook fascism movement. Because for me, this is fascism. What's the difference between this and the totalitarian governments in the world? It's the exact same act, preventing some news, showing up a side of reality, hiding the other side of reality. And it's really funny that it's normally fascist movements, in my subconscious, I'd say, is planted, or I think it's also in the history, that majority of fascist movement, or a lot of them, let's not say majority, to be accurate, or most of them, let's say. Yeah, we say most of them. So most of them are associated with the color red. But now, this is the first time that I know in the history of having a fascist movement that associated with the blue color, if I may call it that, of course. So hopefully, until we find a solution for this, until we find alternative for Facebook, if you know of any alternatives, serious alternatives, please let me know in the comments. I'll be one of the first people that move out of Facebook, because that, I'm not going to be tiptoeing and watching out what I say and watching out what I write and watching out because a bunch of algorithms controlling me and putting me into a bubble and telling me what's going on around me and manipulating me and believing some reality and ignoring another part of the side of the story. And God knows, as they evolve and as those algorithms get better, how they're going to be controlling the societies. We already have scandals coming out. They interfered with elections, interfered with some happenings. There's some political scenes and manipulating people, selling our data and telling the politicians what's our weaknesses through what they know about us. Actually, it was I'm not sure if it was the second book or the third book from the Harari trilogy. I think it was Homo Deus, if I'm not mistaken, that was talking about. There was an experiment that they gave a survey to people, and from if you put 30, and this is actually a fact, this is a research. I will find out the resource for it, and I'm gonna put it in the comments. Or in the description of the podcast, if there is a description for the podcast, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll make sure that it's down there somewhere. Anyway, back to this experiment. What they were saying is that from 30 likes, if you like or dislike, or basically like or sweep like 30 posts on Facebook, the algorithms could predict your answers on those surveys better than your friends. And if the number of likes or comments or like interactions, let's say, with the post goes up to 50, they will know you better than your closed ones and close friends and even your parents. And or yeah, if I'm not sure about exact numbers, but the most scary thing that if you like or dislike or interact with 100 posts on a timeline, Facebook could predict your answers on questions better than your wife or your partner. So we are talking about algorithms that kind of know us better than ourselves. So imagine with this amount of data, it's not selling your data like what did you browse or what did you want to buy or what did you talk to your friend about, so the microphones overheard you. We're talking about data that can predict what are you scared of, what kind of speech could motivate you to go and vote, what kind of speech could turn you off and not vote, what kind of speech would direct you to the conservative parties, what kind of speech could direct you to like the liberals, let's say. So we're talking about algorithms that kind of know your weaknesses or know which news to highlight for you on your timeline to form your opinion and control who you vote for. This is scary. Of course, it could be used for consumerism. Of course, it could be sold to mega, huge companies. But we're talking about an algorithm that could predict or could actually direct you to vote or where to eat or where not to eat. It's insane. I'll dig deeper into this, since this is my first episode, so I don't want it to be so long and boring. This is basically introduction and an announcement for starting a podcast. I'm not sure also if I can make a podcast and a video from the same video. But yeah, I make it this is chit chatting. I'll keep it there. I don't want it to be long and boring. And yeah, hopefully this restriction won't last long. I didn't even bother to check how long it is. And of course, it's gonna kill my reach. It's gonna kill my opinion. So I think the darkest neo-Nazi in the history of virtual world. I hope so. No other dark people, sexy brown people got accused of being dangerous groups, aka neo-Nazis. But yeah, So I won't be able to be like, I'm not gonna be seen, I think, for a while at least, or God knows what's gonna happen with Facebook or what's the effect of this on my account. But anyway, my Facebook is for my friends and family and people that I care about. It's nothing. I don't use it for social media. Like, I mean, I'm not an influencer or so. All what I care about is like, please don't delete my account, and that's it. So I can keep in touch with the people I want to keep in touch with. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. That was the first episode of Scriptless Crispness, and this is Nordic Nonsense. See you soon. Ha det bra.